Hi, I'm Crystal Flory. This is my final project for ED 688. I'm an intervention specialist at Field Middle School. I'm obtaining my principal's license from Ashland University. The best way to get in contact with me is my Ashland email account. Currently for this project, I'm working directly with my building principal and our district technology coordinator to help implement this program, and they're letting me do this in order to prepare me to be a future administrator. So the project that I'm working on is our building is planning on implementing a bring your own device or BYOD policy for next year. The purpose of this project is to collect surveys that the staff, the students, and the parents will fill out. We're collecting these surveys to kind of collect data on the information and help the administration make an informed decision when they're implementing the BYOD policy, when they kind of draft the policies and procedures that are going to be implemented. Our reasoning for doing this is many of the staff we were met with a lot of positivity and a lot of negativity when we brought this to everyone's attention at the beginning of the year. So we were kind of hoping that by including the staff and the teachers and the students that it might make the process a little easier, it might put their minds at ease, and maybe they'd be more willing to kind of jump out on this program. Parent input is always important. These students are only middle school students, so we want to know, their fears, their worries, their expectations for such a program. And having student input is always good because having that student choice helps them take ownership of something. So my goals for this project is, the main one is to increase building-wide participation. We were about 50-50. Some teachers wanted to do it. Half the teachers did not want to do that. We really want to increase that. And we're hoping by creating these surveys and getting their input that we're going to be able to increase their building-wide participation in hopes that this program is a success. So to collect the data, we're going to have a variety of sources, including teacher and staff surveys, student surveys, parent surveys. Our building leadership team has gotten together and done extensive program research on different BYOD policies and procedures that have been implemented in other districts, successes, failures from other administrators, reasons behind why you'd want to implement a bring your own device policy, why is it effective, what would kind of be the drawbacks to it. So that research has already been done and looked into. Another goal of this project would be to organize all of that data, make it easy to see, and so that our administration and our BLT team can make an informed decision of the new policy before it's implemented. Obviously, the final goal of the project is to kind of help overcome some of the major challenges of implementing a new technology building-wide. The way I would measure success of this project, first and foremost, we would have 70% of teachers and staff participation, 70% of staff to take part in the survey, so then we're hoping we have at least 70% of the staff take part in the Bring Your Own Device implementation program in the future. I also think it's important to include staff members, not just teachers, because this could happen building-wide. It could happen in the library, in the cafeteria, possibly in the hallways, and there's going to be other staff kind of in charge in those areas, so we want to make sure that they're in on this as well. Success of parent and student participation would be 50%, and we're basing those numbers off of our parent participation in past activities and surveys. We've done surveys attached to our online newsletters. We've also incorporated signing up for conferences online, and we only get about 43% parent participation, so we're hoping for 50% with this program. Later on down the road, I'm hoping to conduct a secondary survey, at least with the teachers and the staff, after the policy's been drafted and implemented, to kind of gauge its effectiveness, its ease of use, what could be changed, what's going really well, and that kind of thing. So these are the different standards that are being addressed in this project. A big one being the leadership and vision. We're using data to make leadership decisions. We are creating a whole new vision for this technology, and we've already done an extensive amount of research base to kind of gauge the effectiveness of this technology before we implement it. The learning and teaching standard, we are identifying, evaluating, and promoting appropriate technologies to kind of enhance and support instruction. So we're hoping that this new policy helps us incorporate more technology, which will help with more standards-based curriculum and better student achievement. We're collaborating while we're doing this. These surveys are very collaborative. We're asking for lots of input, and that's hopefully going to enrich our learning environments in the future. We're also we're developing and implementing a new policy, so that's covers Standard 4. Standard 5, we're using technology to collect and analyze data. We're going to use Google Forms, and hopefully that's the best and most successful way to get our information and get a screenshot view of it, be able to analyze it and interpret it, and be able to communicate that so that we can improve our student learning. The surveys are going to give us access to staff knowledge, let us know what their skills are, how they're using technology, how they can better use technology, and we're also going to ensure that access to technology is accessible to everybody through these surveys. Our project timeline for this, the first two things we wanted to accomplish would be to create the surveys for the teachers and the staff, also create the surveys for the parents and the students. We did create paper surveys for the parents. We do have several parents that have requested our newsletter to be sent via paper, so those same parents that have requested the newsletters to be paper, they will also get their surveys via paper, and we will hand those to the students to take home. Our goal is to distribute the online surveys to teachers and staff tomorrow. An email is set to send out tomorrow. We will distribute the surveys to the parents the next day, and like I said, we will hand the paper copies to students before they leave. And again, we're hoping for 50% participation from our parents. In order to get the students to complete the survey, everybody has their own Gmail account. So we have set up so that the Google Forms will go to all the students' Gmail accounts. The Director of Technologies assisted me with that. We are requesting that the English Language Arts teachers, because they have the computers in their classroom, have those students complete the survey. So either it could be a whole class, first 5 minutes, everybody do it, or once you're finished with your morning bell work, get on the computer and complete it. It's up to them. We're asking that within the next week they have the students complete that survey. After all the surveys have been completed, we're going to compile the results, look at the spreadsheets that Google Form gives us, kind of combine those spreadsheets into one. We're then going to meet as a building leadership team along with our administration to view the results of the survey. We're going to take into effect the additional research that we've done and see what does this all mean. How are we going to implement this into our policy? A month later, after looking at this and digesting this information, we're going to meet again as a BLT to begin to draft the BYOD policy, and this is kind of where administration takes that forward. After it's been drafted, they will then decide on a final BYOD, and hopefully it will be ready to be implemented. Like I said before, we're going to conduct a follow-up survey in the future, sometime in the 2016-2017 school year, to kind of gauge its effectiveness after it's been implemented. We're thinking September, early October to do that. So these are the different surveys that I have created. The teacher staff survey, they're all on Google Forms. So when the teachers and the staff complete their survey, it's asking all about their opinions on the policy, their comfort level using technology, how they've used technology before, like in the past. But we really want to know, how do they feel about it being implemented in their classroom? How do they think it's going to work? Do they have opinions on the benefits of the policy? Do they have issues they are afraid they might encounter with the policy? And like I said, we also want to kind of gauge their comfort level. What do they use at home? What do they currently use in their classroom? Because if they're truly afraid of this policy, but they have no comfort level for using the technology, maybe that's what we need to address first in a professional development. So that's the teacher staff survey. The parent survey is a little bit shorter, and we want to know, does your middle schooler even have their own device? How do they feel about their middle schooler bringing their device to school? Some parents might be totally against this. You know, technology is expensive. What are they worried about? We also want to know, do they feel it can enhance and improve classroom instruction? If we can't get them to buy into this, then this might be harder than we think it is. There's also an open-ended answer, or an open-ended question. What else do they want to share with us? What else do they think we should know as a building? And then the last one is a student survey. We want to know how the students feel about it. Do they have their own technology? Do they think it's a good idea? What are they worried about if they do bring their own technology? We also want to know if they don't, because we're going to have a lot of students that don't have their own technology, but we do have some available in the library. Would they be willing to check it out? Would they be comfortable doing that, or or is it going to create a huge problem with them not having their own? We also want to know how they think bringing their own devices would help their education. Why do they think this is a good idea? A lot of the questions from the students also have an other box, so hopefully they'll give us their opinions and their input. So those are the 3 surveys that we would be conducting, and as I said before, we would collect all that data, look at all that data, and then use that information to draft and formulate a policies and procedures to implement next year so that we could complete this. That's my project. I hope you enjoyed my slideshow. Thanks.